Hey guys, welcome to round one. Looks like we're going to be on the draw, so that's unfortunate, but we'll see what happens here. Um, this hand seems pretty good. Keep in mind we don't need to play the Aether Geode Miner first, so we're perfectly happy going like Lonely Sandbar into Calciferum Pools. We really want to get 3 lands, so if we had a 4th land, we would cycle the Lonely Sandbar, but since we only have 3, we'll probably keep it. If we draw a 4th land, we might change that decision. Like if our draw for this turn is like a island or plains, we might decide to do something different. But we'll probably play the Lonely Sandbar on 1. Okay, this is elves. That means it doesn't really change our play pattern, but we have to be really worried about smokestack because we can't really beat a turn 3 smokestack like at all. At least not until we get our sideboard cards. Okay, so with that, since we're really trying to hit 3 and we also want to hit white mana, we're just going to play and cycle this. Um, um, I suppose there's some benefit to holding up like you, but I don't actually have anything I can play, and so I'm going to get that sweet F6 value by cycling now. The playing the planes is interesting because one of the interesting things about this deck is you can be aggro or control, especially when you have all the 3 powered beaters. Um, I think because we're scared of smokestack and because we don't have any counters, we probably want to play this out, especially because it can also be a good blocker and people don't expect it. Like if you get in a couple of attacks with this and then leave it back, you can block and then flicker it and stall for a while. So we will be playing this out based on how the board's playing out, but it wouldn't necessarily be wrong to play Calciform Pools and start ticking it up, because it's really powerful if you can, if you don't get your Cultivator's Caravan and you just spend 2 turns ticking this up, being able to Wrath and clear the board on turn 4 is great. Um, and I tunneled on this possibly because I'm streaming, and Azorius Charm would almost certainly be a better play, but it's fine. Okay. Um, so this is kind of nice. What we do is we attack, and if he blocks, I mean, it's not as nice as if he doesn't block. So we almost always want to attack with this because it's a free roll, especially against a deck without removal. There's no way we can just get punished, and he has to. So this play I'm about to show you now, once I do it once, they always kind of have to be aware of it, and that is nice because it means that sometimes you can get free value. So oh, we don't get the damage, but we do get our tapped blocker here, and now we can put this here. And this is really important against decks with removal, because once you get the first 2 energy, it becomes really hard for them to interact with this. And that's why it's nice. That's also why we keep this in as opposed to the Porcelain Legionnaire in game 2, partially because it doesn't get hit by Naturalize, and partially because it's more resilient to removal. One of the annoying things about this deck is you have to constantly set stops. Like, since I don't know if like it's a big advantage, but one of the things we don't want to really draw any more lands. And I'm not sure exactly what the thinning effect is, but I always try and set a stop at my turn when I play one of those, and it's annoying and click intensive. All right. Yeah. So we're going to play a land, and and our plan is to block and flicker our own creature, which digs us 3 cards into the deck for the Wrath that we're going to need if we're going to win this game. But we fortunately already have a land, so. Also, Aetherling normally isn't relevant as a blocker, but that might actually come up here. So that's nice. Also, him being... I don't know if he has a smokestack in hand, but if he does, I'm really freaking happy he hasn't hit another land yet. I think we discard the third dwarf. We'll see. Ideally, we just rip planar. Either it doesn't really matter what wrath we rip, but ideally we rip a wrath off the top. That is an interesting card. I do not know why he's playing that. What are you going to fetch for? I was not aware of any good tree folks in Modern, but maybe I will become informed. Unless he's getting like Vertaloth the Ancient, I guess it kind of combos with Swaphalos. It's like tragic off the top would be just peachy. What did he filter for? Okay, so he just got a forest. That. So we have a bunch of options. We can treasure cruise into Aether Geode Miner. That means he takes us down 3 points. That gets us the most looks. Our other option is Calciferum Pools, Aether Geode Miner, Hold Up, Dissolve, and then I think that's good because then we can chump with this, and that lets us dig. That lets us dig for 1 mana, which means that if we hit a land, it means A, he can't do anything too scary next turn. Not that I really expect him to. And B, it gives us more looks next turn because if we chump, we'll be able to, assuming we cast, no, even if we just chump, we'll be able to cast any Wrath we draw. And also, fortunately for us, if we draw Tragic, we can just Tragic this, and it's completely useless for him. So let's go. I guess we could potentially if we don't tap the Calciferum Pools, we don't have Azorius Charm up, but we do have the ability to activate it, so that's also an option. I don't think we're gonna end up doing it. I feel like I can't see a situation where we want to cast Azorius Charm and not dissolve, so I'm gonna go like this. Hopefully he casts something. All right. Oh, please just attack with those two. That would be great. Okay. So another decision point we have is we can blink one of these and save them, or we can let them both die for the value on Treasure Cruise. I'm gonna blink one because we can still take a hit next turn if we do it that way. Um, and we don't absolutely need to Wrath, and there's a decent chance we dissolve anyway and get our free looks off Treasure Cruise. But it is a kind of decision point we can make. What do you got? And this is why we say no. Put that on the bottom. A little pinched on mana. And we'd be in a much worse position if he had swung with his dorks last time. So ideally, he keeps on not doing that. So our choices are, if we go like this. Well, the first thing we do is, and this is why I like this card, we can swing and just we get 3 damage in. And even though it looks like we're losing, if we ever turn the corner, just like having a clock is, or having a slightly faster clock is relevant, and this just doesn't cost us anything, which is what's very nice about it. Because I mean, if he chumps, that's fine. If he doesn't chump, that's also fine. I wonder if he has Overwhelming Stampede in his deck, because this looks like an Overwhelming Stampede deck. Okay. Figuring out how to tap the mana. We want to have Dissolve, but we know we're blocking with this, and we can't tap this. This will be Summoning Sick, and we're gonna Temporal Isolation, the one he doesn't attack with. So we're gonna go like this. We probably eat a Baloth. This line, it's kind of we'll take 7. If he has something like that he casts main phase that's a must counter, we'll block this with this because we can't activate this, and we have to use it to cast Dissolve, and we'll take 7 and be just hoping for a Wrath off the top. All right. Brutalath the Ancient. If I counter that, I feel like we're still just really desperate for a Wrath. I think I'll let that go through. This is letting me like trade cards. So what I'm gonna do is, if he attacks, I block. If he doesn't attack, I don't do anything, and I probably cycle this at end of turn just to get 1 card deeper. Alright. He might not know that this can block. So because if he swings in with these, I eat this with this, and I Temporal Isolation the other one. Oh, I miss that this is now a real creature. How dare... That's very rude, making that a real creature. so we have a couple options. So one option is just activating or just casting Aetherling, because this can't really swing into it. He can swing into it with his dorks. We don't get to keep dissolve up, which is unfortunate. Also, I'm gonna probably stop talking so much doing round 2, just because talking and kind of explaining my thought patterns really is not great for my clock. What'll it be? I think. He just attacks with Vertoloth. We block with Cultivated Caravan, and probably end step Vanish this to draw 2 cards. It depends on if we... That also lets us leave Dissolve up, because he only has 1 card in hand, so we can't really do anything too scary. What'll it be, Mr. Opponent? Alright. And how do I attack? Okay. Suicide attack with everything? Yes? No? Maybe? Okay. Whoa. Let's see. What do we want to eat? I think we're gonna take the damage and block Vertoloth, I want to say. We have a couple choices. We can take 3 and block this, but we kind of want to end step exile this. We can block this and leave this around and just eat one of his mana dorks. Let's do that. So we're taking 5. We also have the option of, at some point, Azorius Charming and gaining 8 life back. But we're just using our life total as a resource here. Actually, probably better than exiling that is just drawing 5 via... Yeah, we're gonna just draw 5 off our own caravan, and this should... Yeah, there we go. There's our wrath. Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So yeah, we get to do a wrath with counter backup, which is very nice. And that's basically the game. I don't think there's anything he can do that's at all relevant at this point. I guess if he has like a Naturalize in hand, he can no, actually that's a good reason to tap differently, but okay. And now we have Counterspell, and we drop Aetherling, and I don't think he can win from there. We also have these, so if he has like just a random dork, we can just completely ignore it. it's possible I was supposed to jam Aetherling there, but I'm kind of worried about like I don't know what I'm worried about. I guess not that. Maybe jamming Aetherling and saving clock time and giving him one less draw would have been better, but we'll see. But yeah, drawing 5 cards is really good because you almost always get a Wrath and your opponent can't win if they rely on the board. And we better win game 2 because I don't think we have time to win game 3. We may do that, opponent. I don't think Vertiloff or Treefolk Harbinger are going to do much for my opponent. Colonian Twin Grove. Oh, no, I don't. That's actually fine because we can just exile the token with this and draw tons of cards. Alright, excellent. So again, I haven't. I think I mentioned in the deck tech I haven't really figured out sideboarding with this deck. There's an argument for like going with an Angel of Condemnation build. I think this card is really good if your opponent can't really interact. But I feel like our main deck is basically like already kind of pre-tuned to beat this kind of deck, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm just gonna hit submit. And hope we play a little faster. Some decks I side out Aetherling because if like they're not doing a this is great at obviating their removal and fighting a control shell, but if they're not a control shell, you can just win with normal dorks and not bother with Aetherling. This is just your inevitability, but drawing 5 cards for 4 mana at instant speed is good, guys. Yeah, the green decks, if they don't get their Rafa start or they don't get Smokesick out, actually, I guess, let's see, I'm gonna hedge and put in this and remove that. That's my hedge, because I guess he could be a Smokestack deck and just didn't draw it. Oh. Did I? What? Magic Online, come back. I'm not sure if I've not submitted properly. We'll see. It'll be interesting. Interesting if we actually. Okay, we did submit. I'm not sure if Forsake the World they actually got in the deck, but I feel like that's probably okay. Okay, this is fine. Again, we have that choice. It depends on what he's playing. So we'll play out our island first. But if we it depends on if we draw another island or not. But we may want to activate Calciform Pools on turn 2, just so that we have access to counter magic on turn 3. Okay, it's completely not scary. Oh, so we do not have. So we can take 4 damage here, or we can block it with Temporal Isolation. I'm gonna go with the Temporal Isolation early plan, and ideally we draw a island next turn so we can hold this up, but we'll see. No Smokestack, no Smokestack. I think we'll go play this, play this. It's odd that he doesn't have or I guess he hasn't drawn it, but playing the other mana dorks and not playing Raphalos seems weird. But he could have just drawn poorly. Okay, so Tragic Arrogance is gonna blow him out. Okay, so again, this comes up kind of frequently. We have the choice of... We're definitely playing Porcelain Legionnaire, and we're definitely taking 2 damage. The question is, do we hold up the Azorius Charm, or do we charge our thingamajigger? I guess we could also do none of that and just hold out for Tragic Arrogance. Could also attack and bounce this back to his hand. I kind of like that. And again, this is I think I talked about this in the last game. This just gives us an advantage because we either just get 3 damage in for free, or he blocks and undoes his turn. It's just very convenient in kind of getting board parity back. See, and he doesn't block because he's possibly because he's I assume because he's afraid of this. That would be the kind of best reason not to block. Right. So I'm gonna, if he didn't block there, I'm gonna hold this up. Like ideally he doesn't block and I cycle this trying to fetch my other land. That would be kind of my best case scenario. But in terms of clock, cycling this is almost as good as or cycling this is almost as good as bouncing it, I guess. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. Okay. It's fine. Okay, and hopefully he. I need a land. Alright, so let's free roll this attack. Alright, so he's definitely playing the Colonian Tomb Groves next turn. I can play this and double block. Doesn't seem that great. I can counter it and chump block. Also doesn't seem that great. I think I play this, and again I'm kind of dead without a land, but I'm gonna play this. I'll let his Twin Grove through. This hopefully dissuades his mana dorks from attacking, and if we draw a land, we're in business. If we don't, that gives us another turn of chump blocking. Oh, it has trample. I think we're dead. Why did it always have trample? Who gave it trample? Why does it? Why did? Oh, as long as you control another tree folk. I see. So that's 5. Okay, we're dead. Okay. Trample. Did not read the card. We were kind of dead anyway. Oh wow, we were super super land. I mean, I guess we play this and then have it next turn, but very land light. That's okay. We're on the playing game 3. I think again. I think we just ship it back. I don't think we want any of this. Um, it definitely is looking like he's not a uh, smokestack deck, so we don't need Forsake the Worldly. These are kind of slow. These are faster. Um, this is one of the original list had 4 temporal isolations, and the thing I noticed is it's really good when it's good, but there's so many matchups where you just like want to side it out, and it just feels terrible. And so I cut one because having one in hand in one of the matchups where it's dead is fine. Having 2 in hand just feels like you're losing. So I trimmed one, but like this is a matchup where it'd be really good. So I don't know. Not entirely certain what's correct there, but okay. Um, Digging for our Wrath. We're set up to do a turn 4 Wrath, which is nice, and we have this to stall. So this is basically like our ideal hand. We just need either Wrath or card draw, and we're not in any particular hurry because his deck can't attack us too much outside of combat. There's an argument for cycling the charm. We'll see. If he plays I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do if he plays a fatty this turn, because ideally he just doesn't do anything threatening this turn, and I can play out Cultivator's Caravan and then charm whatever he plays. We'll see. Nature's Law. Okay, don't care. I can't imagine there's a deck where it makes sense to play 4 Findhorned, like 8 Mana Dorks and not play Rathalos. That just seems very very strange to me. Hopefully he plays something that can be charmed next turn. Um, if he plays like I don't know, either Woodbriar Elemental or something like that, that'd be unfortunate. We also drew really poorly off. We got 2 more lands when we already had enough lands, but that's magic. Okay, this is good. This is good. Um, I'm kind of idly curious if he plays Gaia's Revenge, but one of the nice things is we are much less soft to this blocks Gaia's Revenge pretty well, as do um, two of the Mana Dorks or the Porcelain Legionnaires. So we're much less soft to Gaia's Revenge than a traditional control deck would be. Um, we kind of want to play this to activate Treasure Cruise, but we kind of want to have both of these up. So I'm gonna go with having both of these up because if we use both of these next turn, that's more in the yard than this, and um, it just seems like a overall better play. Um, Hopefully he tries to like pump all his mana into Vertiloth or Woodbriar Elemental or something of that nature. that was probably wrong. I probably should tap my mana such that if he Nature's Claims this, I have like options of not it didn't matter, but like there's a world in which he does a whatever the hybrid mana one is on this, and I want to counter it, but then he casts something even more threatening after that. Like okay. I think I'll play this and just start taking it up. Hopefully he plays out his hand next turn. It's kind of unfortunate because it means he's going to follow up with like one of these. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we need something live off the top of our deck. So, okay. Verdaloth. Alright. Okay. Okay, that's huge for us. Because this means that like we get to fade an extra draw with Verdaloth. I think someone said in the Discord chat that I win by opponents punting, and it's not completely untrue. All right, so I think I'd rather cycle this than use this. So we're gonna go. Actually, I'll probably do neither. I'm probably just gonna activate my charge this up, because it's like in the event I need to use the mana on my following turn, charging this up is net equal to just cycling this turn. Yes, there's your Verdaloth. I don't think it's very good. If that was like a Briar element, like even though you have synergies, if that was a Briar or a Briarwood elemental, whatever it's called, it'd be way more scary. Ding, fries are done. Not really worried about the 2/2. From suspicions, yes. So I will. Take the. I'll take the. I'll temporal isolation this. If his last card is, I have the counter. So yeah, this is good. I feel like if he had the 2 mana naturalize, he would kill this, but maybe I'm wrong. And it's like, can we say to that no? And this is where we start turning the corner. So it turns out we'd be fine even if he had swung in for 10 damage, but we drew better than we might have. I think I'm actually gonna take the life hit because I wanna leave mana up to crack clues. Oops. Again, things that might not matter, but like in hindsight, I remember there was a game I lost at like or I won at like 3 life, and people were like, "Oh, I missed an attack," and I'm like, "Yeah, that kind of mattered, but really I'm just like taking advantage of my life buffer to like leave up a buffer for additional options." So it's kind of hard to figure out exactly to what extent it matters. Speaking of screwing up, I should have attacked there. I could have swung in with this. But I don't know. This is fine because this gets me. I get to pump this, and I get to draw two clues. All right, he's gonna search for something. I'm gonna dig for a counterspell. Everything's great. Okay. Dig for what did he put on top? Okay. What do we want? A counterspell. Or I guess I don't know. Our biggest threat right now is time. Counterspell is good. Wrath is good. It's all good. Land is not good. That's fine, but not ideal. Alright, that's again fine. Really wish we'd attacked last turn. That's great. It'll draw us like a bazillion cards off of his Twin Grove, and that should get us all the way to the alt. I guess we'll just let him cast his Twin Grove. That's fine. Again, we're scared more of the clock than anything else at this point. If he casts the Twin Grove and we draw like, what is this, like 7 cards off of it and don't find a Wrath, I'll be sad. Again, if it not for the timer, we're perfectly happy sitting here just charging this up. We are in a very secure position. And I blame you, my dear listener, for the timer, because it's all the talking that I'm not the fastest player in the world, but it's the talking that slows down the decision-making process a little. I don't understand you. That looks like a terrible play because I know what the card in your hand is. But fine, we will let you do that. Now I don't even need a Wrath really. You may do 1 damage to my opponent. It's like, yes. It's like, yes, I will refill my hand. Counters in the world, and we win. And again, like, we'd be at 2 life and people would be like, it was so close, but again, like, I took 4 damage from activating my Porcelain Legionnaires, and I don't like really think that anyone thinks that's like the key difference between whether I think looking from the outside it looks like that's the difference between whether I won or lost, but I don't think it actually matters. Alright, and we just sit here behind our counter spells. We're playing this so we don't have to discard, and game's over. Yay! The only thing that can't be countered that's relevant is Gaia's Revenge, and we can just soak the hit and still win. Like, no. We say, no. You may not. exactly how I like to win the game, with overwhelming board presence and like 5 answers in hand or 4 answers in hand against an opponent with 0 cards. All right, thanks for watching round 1. I'll be back in round 2.